I'm gonna try and keep it as chill as possible here, but we might get a little bit heated if we cover topics that genuinely make me upset. And there will be, because a lot of things nowadays do make me upset. But I will say sometimes we might talk about triggering topics to anyone who gets triggered by things, but I will say trigger warning before I talk about anything triggering, so don't worry about that. You can still watch. I'm not gonna just jump into something like that. So I think we're gonna kickstart this first episode off by talking about something that's been quite a big thing on the internet recently. It started on 4chan and it's called Super Straight. It's so strange. It's so funny. Why do people who hate the LGBT community want to be in it so badly? They literally made a pride flag and everything, and first of all, that's utter disrespect. And second of all, they're using it to mask their internalized transphobia, which is even funnier to me, actually. The fact that they really think that it's okay for them to just do that. It's not. It's really not. Some people have what's known as a genitalia preference, and that's fine. That's different. Some people just don't like certain things that are going on down there, and I can, sympathize. I do want to just prefix this by saying I'm not trans, so if I am speaking on the issue, but if I do step out of line with anything I say, or if you don't agree, then I'm sorry, but this is from my perspective and what I think. So I mean, you can click off if you don't agree, or you can just let me know that I was wrong. It's fun to learn. But anyway, some people have genitalia preferences, which from what I've seen in a lot of trans people, from what they've said, a lot of them are fine with people having those sorts of preferences. But it's when they, for some reason, they just talk about it like they want to be with someone who's fertile. And obviously there is, ups and downs to dating a trans person. One of them is probably them being infertile. And I don't really feel like that would affect attraction to someone, though, because I don't really feel like you can know somebody's infertile just by looking at them, which is kind of strange. And also, do you remember all the straight people when James Charles posted that one photo on and he was pretending to be a girl and all the straight men thought it was real, and they all thought that he was a woman, and they were all simping for him, only to realize that it was not in fact real. And it was in fact James Charles in a wig. I just thought that was funny, tricking all the straight men. We love to see it. But back on track. Yeah, they made a orange and red flag, and a lot of people have been saying it looks kind of like Nazi propaganda. So I mean, take that with what you will, but some people are saying it looks like, I'm not going to try and say the word, but you can Google it. There are a bunch of people talking about it. And I do think that it's very much mockery to make a pride flag and then also call yourselves super straight. I do think it's definitely mockery because they didn't work for that flag. They say that they're facing adversity at the moment, and well, they are obviously, because it's ludicrous, but the thing is about straight people is they forget that they can walk down the street and hold hands with their partner and stuff, and it'd be completely fine. Nobody's gonna give you a weird look for walking down the street as a straight couple. But with LGBTQ couples, man and woman, woman and a woman, man and a man and a woman, etc., it can be quite daunting. A lot of LGBTQ plus couples feel like they're going to be attacked if they walk anywhere holding hands or anything like that with their boyfriend or girlfriend or partner, and it is not fun for a lot of them, especially walking down the street. I feel like there's a lot of stigma around it. and I feel like a lot of people just give you, regardless of if they are an ally or not, a lot of people still will give you a look. Like, there is definitely a look that comes with being openly out there, and straight people haven't ever had to deal with that. And also, it is still illegal to be homosexual or bisexual or transgender or anything similar to those things in so many countries. It is still so very upsettingly illegal to be who you are in so many different countries around the world, and so many of them see it as some sort of crime against, well, anything really. Some of it comes from religion. Some people feel like it is against God or against the Bible to, date whoever you want to date, or like, transition into whoever you want to be or become. And others see it as just plain strange that that's happening, and they don't like it. They don't like the change. And when anyone brings it up and calls them out on the fact that they're being homophobic, they are very quick to dismiss that and also call the person accusing them a snowflake. I think that the older generation are just mad they can't get away with being like homophobic, transphobic, or anything like that anymore. They can't just get away with, insulting people, or that just fell. They can't really get away with just being absolute shitbags. That's the moral of the, like, and a lot of them are really angry about that for some reason. Like, they're really angry about the fact that they can't openly insult LGBTQ people without a whole fucking brigade coming after them. I feel like there's something poetic about that, but I think it's kind of ridiculous. People just trying to be who they want to be and being shut down by laws. Some countries still have the death penalty available to those who are openly LGBTQ+, or not even openly, if they're just hiding it and they get found out. Like, it is ridiculous how far some of these places will go to shut this down. The views are so ancient, and I gotta say Stone Age like, that I think that the people who have them still, they just don't want to adapt, or they don't want to admit they're wrong. Maybe it's a pride thing, you know what I mean? I just don't understand it. I really don't. A lot of people are afraid of things that they don't understand, which is, fair enough. Well, not fair enough, but you know what I mean. Like, I understand that reasoning of being afraid of something that you don't quite understand yet, but to be afraid of something means that I guess there's a kind of stigma that comes around saying that you're afraid of it. It kind of detaches you from all of the random shit that you did or said that goes against it. And I don't feel like it's fair to call it homophobia or transphobia, because that does imply that you're afraid of that. I don't think people are afraid of gay people. I don't think they walk into anywhere. I don't think someone sees a gay person on the street and just fucking screams and runs away. I could be wrong about that. But I don't think we should call it a phobia. I really don't. It's not on the same level as being afraid of, like, spiders or being afraid of heights. It's on a different level of completely and say that they are valid. That's the word. Invalidating people. I think that it's really, it says a lot about you if you can just invalidate people. And it's not a phobia. You are invalidating somebody's entire identity and telling people that it is scary. That's essentially what that word means. That's what a phobia is. And to call it homophobia or transphobia, they're not afraid. They are not. They are just absolutely, they're just assholes. That's it. They just don't want to change. There's no reason to change. in a society where it's so internalized. These values are so deeply internalized within people that there's no reason for them to change, because a lot of people will still agree with them regardless of how many, rallies there are, how many celebrities or anyone speaks out. There are still going to be people who really agree with them on a lot of different things. And obviously different opinions make the world go round, but I don't think that this should be deemed as an opinion. It's kind of like, to openly speak out against somebody's entire identity, especially when they're not hurting anybody, is ludicrous. And I will never understand how you can do that. How you can tell somebody, look them dead in the eyes and say that them as a person, they are unnatural. Why? It's the same. This is why Super Straight is such a big discussion, because it does harm people. And for some reason people are confused about why they're facing adversity when they call themselves that, but they're facing it because it's hurting people. And so many transphobic people are coming out of like the fucking shadows and saying, oh yeah, I'm that, to distract away from the fact that they're just like blatantly transphobic. And people are just, for some reason, semi-okay with that. Like, nobody's really, people aren't okay with that, but the people in it are, because all publicity is good publicity. But it's stupid, like, that people are that ridiculous nowadays. I know that it was probably just a meme started, but the fact that there are actually people who like follow it and think that it's okay to say that they are that. I want to say that it's mostly men, and I think it probably is, but man, if you're a woman and you follow that, please tell me why. Like, I just need to know why you think that that's okay. And the men that follow it, I mean, I kind of expected that. I feel like it's probably a man that started it. I mean, men cause all the big issues in my planet. And that's not even me man-hating or whatever, or I'm not on like some sort of wild manhunt. But all of the really big problems in the world definitely were started by men. Like, honestly, we should just wipe them out. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But, oh god, it's just, I just don't understand. I think that's my issue right now. It's just that I really don't understand how or why it's okay to call people and, call them out on being homophobic and say that that is an unnatural thing. I mean, not to call people out on being a homophobic, I mean calling people out on being homosexual. Not on being, oh my god, my brain. I'm running on like no sleep. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. I think the problem, like, especially, it's the older generation, especially. And when you raise a child in an older generation, well, not all older generation people, obviously, I just want to say that, but if you raise a child in a household of traditional values, then they're gonna believe them growing up. And traditional values don't always mean, being homophobic, or I might just start saying LGBTQ plus phobic, because that's way easier, obviously. But traditional values don't always mean that, but for a lot of the traditional values, they kind of do mean that, but not all of them. And you can definitely be raised in a household with them and still turn out like a good, respectable human being. But not a lot of people, some people don't. Some people get raised in a household with traditional values. Their parents or, siblings or whoever in their family that they get raised by, they are, transphobic or homophobic or something like that. And that child grows up believing that it is okay to despise homosexuals or transgender people, or not even just despise them. Sometimes they genuinely think what they're saying is okay to say, because they've heard it around their family and their parents for so long that they just vibe with it now, and they think that that's okay. But then when they go out and step out into the world and say those things, people call them out on it and say that that's wrong. I feel like we should be raising our children in environments where it's okay for them to be whoever they want to be, because if you're raised in a household of traditional values and you are not a traditional child, it's going to be very difficult for you growing up, and you're probably going to learn to hate exactly who you are. And we shouldn't be, brewing that for people. I feel like we should be letting people flourish. If you're not hurting anyone, then why should we stop you? You know what I mean? It's it's a happiness thing for a lot of people. And it is not a choice to be attracted to people. I feel like given the choice, a lot of women wouldn't be attracted to men. That is that's just the truth. I'm sorry, but it is just the truth. Given the opportunity, I feel like a lot of women would just opt out. I feel like they would just press the button and just be attracted, just be lesbians, But they can't, so they have to be attracted to men, and that is a fucking shithole. Not because all men are shit, but because you never know which one you're getting when it's like it's not like a pick and mix, it's like a blind pick and mix, You really want to pick those sweets that you like, but instead you get weird shit and like shit colored apples. Not always. Sometimes you do get nice people, but everyone comes with their own challenges. And I feel like men are more of a mixed bag than women. Because I feel like with a woman it's very easy to tell if she's a twat. With a man it's a little bit more difficult, because they're very good at pretending like they are good people. They're very much some sort of predators. Well, not like that, not... I mean, they're very good at acting the part of the nice person. And there's something strangely poetic about that as well, but we won't get into that part of it. But being attracted to someone isn't a choice. Being attracted to any group of people isn't a choice. Or not being attracted to somebody isn't a choice. And I feel like we should destigmatize the value that it is. Is that the right word? I hope that's the right word. I hope I haven't just said something stupid, but I'm pretty sure that's the right word. I feel like we should, just pull down all the gender norms and get rid of them, because they don't serve anyone. The only people that get served by the gender norms are the people who created them. The traditional values aren't serving anybody anymore. So many men are, wearing dresses or wearing skirts, and women are wearing suits. Men are painting their nails, women are cutting their hair short, men are growing it out, There are so many, amazing things going on in the world. And I feel like to keep traditional gender values and gender norms would be very stupid. Because to make fun of someone for wearing something is the lowest form of making fun of someone, I feel like, because it's just, why? What do you get out of making fun of that person for wearing that thing? What do you get out of that? It's, I don't really feel like you get anything out of that. Apart from maybe a little bit of, haha, I made a hate comment, lol. I feel like that's all somebody can get out of that. But those people probably, well, not probably, maybe aren't followers of the traditional norms. A lot of them are just children. And putting children online is a recipe for disaster, I must say. I'm going on so many different side rants, but I do want to just talk about this briefly, and why I'm saying that putting children on the internet is a disaster. Because they either see something they weren't meant to see, or they end up saying something and it's stupid. Because it is a lot children, or teenage boys. And I always do say men, I do, but it is what it is. But it is just a lot, children who do bully people on the internet. Because they can hide behind the screen. I feel like we should be monitoring children more on the internet. I feel like we shouldn't just let them loose, let them to go wherever they want to be. I'm not a parent, obviously, I'm 18. Like, some people might say that I shouldn't have a take on parenting when I've never had a child before, but I'm just saying that monitoring your kids on the internet doesn't seem like a bad idea, because it isn't a special magical place. There are a lot of really bad places on this huge, infinite place. We only have a small percentage of it, and children access a lot of different things that they don't mean to, and see a lot of things that they shouldn't see. I just feel like it's not a good thing to allow your children to have too much social media as a child. I feel like can really screw them up, and there are multiple studies on, there are multiple studies on how it affects your mental health and how it can brew anxiety and depression and a bunch of other mental disorders, and I might cover that next episode, but it's really damaging, I feel like, to just allow your child to go on social media so young. It really gives them this outlook on the world that just isn't real and just is not authenticized. Is that a word? I feel like I'm saying a lot of weird things and waffling for quite a while, but it's just I feel like we should just be raising children in an environment where they have everything they need. They have a lot of supportive people around them. I feel like we should be raising them in an environment where they're not forced to be one gender. And by that I don't mean raise your children to be non-binary by any means, but I mean let them pick what they want instead of, putting them in pink shit or blue stuff. I don't know why I swore for one and not the other, but I feel like some people might think I'm waffling and creating an issue out of nothing, but I just feel, I feel like it's it could be really helpful when they grow up, when they start growing up, because then they won't have those traditional gender norms, and so they can be molded into whoever they want to be, because I feel like a child is just a blank canvas, and I feel like you should leave it blank and let them fill it in when they want to, instead of filling it in with whatever you've internalized from your childhood that you wanted to do instead of what they want to do, because it really should be about them in this whole, thing. Alright, I think that should about wrap it up for this very first episode of this thing. I think I'm gonna make the next one about mental health and about the effects of social media on mental health and how it creates a warped view of reality for a lot of people. I think that's going to be my next one, especially since I delved into it so much in this episode. I'm going to do some extra research in my spare time, which is why it'll take a little bit longer for me to get that episode out. I might also pull in other people and rub them into my little scheme, and so that you can hear other people who are also my age, I guess, but their views on mental health and social media and how they affect each other. But until next time, bye!